tonight at Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, a fight that once seemed impossible becomes possible and comes to fruition on Saturday night. It's Canelo Alvarez defending his undisputed super middleweight championship against the former two-division undisputed champion Terrence Crawford, who is undefeated with a 41-0 record with 31 knockouts. Canelo is 63-2-2 with 30 knockouts of his own. And this match is a fight that has been talked about and dreamed about for many years at this time, and it's finally coming true, and one that just seemed like it was so far-fetched just even 2 years ago when Terrence Crawford beat Errol Spence and became undisputed at 147 pounds. That's 21 pounds different from the title that Canelo holds right now at 168 pounds at the super middleweight division. So this fight, once it didn't even seem like it was an idea that could even happen in this lifetime. It was one of those kind of fantasy booking where you hope something happens and could happen, and one of these mixed weight matchups. But they're actually meeting at the same weight. They both weighed at 167.5 pounds. Crawford hasn't fought since he beat Israel Madrimov back in August of 2024. So it's been off for over a year, building up his frame and getting bigger to face a guy like Canelo at 168 pounds. And this fight is just really as good as it gets in the whole sport. There's no better matchup today in boxing that is on this level. And I could argue there's no fight in boxing, in championship level fights, that is on this level of a competitive in-ring fight. Yes, we had the big fights with Mayweather and Conor. Jake Paul and Tyson was the most viewed fight ever on Netflix back in November, 65 concurrent viewers. But this fight has a chance to be the most viewed championship boxing match since the Rumble in the Jungle 50 years ago. That drew 50 million viewers on live television, and this could reach that. I don't think it'll reach 50. I do think it could come a little close, but that just is a testament to how big this fight is. This is a fight between two all-time greats, two pound-for-pound greats right now, and two guys that are future Hall of Famers down the line. Two guys that have accomplished it all in the sport, and now they're going face-to-face to combat each other and to see who the better guy is, and to prove, to me, a lot of this from Crawford is he's out there to prove that he is the pound-for-pound best fighter. There's been many years of him in that pound-for-pound talk, but if you can move up 21 pounds from where he last held an undisputed title to beat the guy that has done it all in this sport and beat every legend you can think of, really, that really solidifies Crawford's legacy and really puts him in a different stratosphere all time. You have to start to talk about if he can become the first ever male 3-division undisputed champion, where does that leave him all time? Does that make him a top 10 boxer of all time? It could. But for Canelo Alvarez, this is about adding another legend to his resume. He's done this in the past. He's fought so many past champions and legends, and this is a chance also to silence the doubters. He's on a 6-fight win streak, but all 6 have been by decision. He hasn't had a finish since he beat Caleb Plant back in 2021, so he really has a lot of people to prove wrong, just as Crawford does, because, Crawford gets a lot of hate about his activity. He's not the best self-promoter. He doesn't talk the most trash, and he just hasn't been that active, and that is a fair criticism to Crawford. I mean, this is the 6th straight year where he's only going to fight one fight, unless, obviously, he's not going to fight before 2025 ends, and yeah, that's what concerning part for Crawford. His last fight against Madrimov moved up to 154 pounds. It wasn't the best performance, but the same could be said for Canelo's last couple performances. So I think both are in that same boat where they have accomplished so much, but they still need to prove so much. They still have so much to prove because we just haven't really seen their best lately. And when you look at the odds of this fight, Canelo's a minus 175. Crawford's a plus 140 underdog. And that to me is a testament of how great Terrence Crawford is, because he's the guy moving up weight. Even from his last fight, he's moving up 14 pounds. And he's still a slight underdog to the guy in Canelo who has traditionally been, his last couple years, he's a massive favorite over every single guy he steps in there with. But Crawford is different. He's 41-0. He's never been beat. He's undefeated. And in this fight, although Canelo is the naturally bigger guy, he's been at super middleweight for longer, obviously, as this is Crawford's first fight in the division. Crawford is taller by an inch and a half. He does have a 4.5 reach advantage, and he is the better defensive fighter by the stats, and he does a good job by not allowing his opponents to land any big shots. And Canelo has shown in the past he does get hit, as we saw against Bivol a couple years ago. So I really think that this fight is going to be really close. I hope it's a fire fight. I hope both guys come out firing, come out aggressive, and come out of the version of each fighter that we know and grown to love them as. But I'm just going to go with my prediction right here. I know Canelo has dominated this division for many years, but I'm going with Terrence Crawford at plus 140 as the underdog to beat Canelo Alvarez, become the first 3-division undisputed male champion, because I just think he's special. I think although he hasn't been the most active guy, every time we've seen him in there, he hasn't let up. He hasn't he's never had an off night where an opponent has got one over on him. And I think until we see that, I just can't go against the guy who's undefeated, the guy who's taller in there. I think Crawford, if he's the more active guy early in this fight, I think he can wear Canelo down. I really do. Will his power be as effective at 168 pounds as it was at 147? No, I agree with that. But I don't think he's going to need a knockout to win this fight. I think if he uses his full arsenal, will be enough to beat Canelo. And I think this fight's going to go decision either way. I don't think there will be a knockout, but I do think it will be a spectacular fight. I can't wait. Canelo Alvarez is taking on Terrence Crawford. It's tonight in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. One of the biggest fights in history. It should be a great one. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Ryan Wohl, and I'll see you next time.